Shalom. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, or Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim, bringing to you another article. This one's from The Guardian, and it says, fall in fertility rates may be linked to fossil fuel pollution, find study. Decreasing fertility rates may be linked to pollution caused by fossil fuel burning, a review of the scientific studies has found. Over the past 50 years, childbirth has steadily decreased. The study focused on Denmark, but the trend is also seen in other industrialized nations. 1 in 10 Danish children are born with assisted reproduction, and more than 20% of men never have children, according to the researchers. This decrease seems to have started at the beginning of industrialization. Experts have warned the trend could lead to an unbalanced demographic with too few younger people to support the older generations. We have to realize that we know all too little about infertility in the population, so the next step forward would really be to find out why so many young couples don't have children. I'm going to skip down a little bit. I'll go right here. Falling birth rates are often chalked up to cultural and socioeconomic factors such as the rise of access to Planned Parenthood, contraception, and abortion, and the changing role of women in society, as education and participation in the workforce has delayed childbearing. And that's true. If you want a flourishing population, it's best to use women for what they were born to do, and that's to bear children. And they have a limited window to do that, so it's probably best to not have them concentrate on their career so much. But data shows that pregnancies were already declining before the rollout of the contraceptive pill. Overall, abortion numbers are decreasing over the years, and unintended pregnancy loss has been increasing by 1 to 2% since 1990. That's a ton. Let's keep going down. What struck me in this study was the finding that so much of modern life originates from fossil fuels, said Skakabek. We don't think about it that way when we buy a pair of shoes made of chemicals originally produced from fossil fuels. And he's right, it's in just about everything. These chemicals and these fossil fuels and petroleum, it's in our medicines, it's in our foods, and it's in your plastic water bottles. And it has a ton of negative effects, especially on your hormones. Fossil fuels are ubiquitous, and they have been found in people's blood, urine, semen, placenta, and breast milk, as well as their fatty tissue. Many fossil fuel pollutants are endocrine disruptors, meaning they interfere with the body's hormonal systems and have a negative effect on reproductive health. We know from numerous experimental animal studies that plastics, chemicals, and so forth can cause problems in animal reproduction, said Skakabek, we cannot do such exposure studies in humans. That would not be ethical, but we know enough from animal studies to be concerned. And we'll get this one too. Studies show that, for example, rats and mice undergo genetic changes affecting their reproductive abilities when exposed to endocrine disruption by toxic chemicals. Research on humans is still sparse, but some studies have shown that endocrine disrupting chemicals might be substantially linked to male reproductive diseases. Animal data has shown female and male reproductivity is affected differently with the same levels of exposure, and that early gestation is a particularly sensitive time for those chemicals to have disruptive effect. However, these links will have to be systematically examined and assessed for causality. Changes in lifestyle, such as less physical activity, smoking, growing rates of obesity, alcohol consumption, and changes in diet, also must be kept into account. And that article, a lot of this is actually prophesied. Like Esau's prophesied to be made small among the heathen. It says that in Jeremiah 49 and in Obadiah, I think the second verse of first chapter of Obadiah. I've made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Let's get into scriptures though. So we're not supposed to all this pollution is a detriment to all the nations, not just the Israelites, but all the nations, to the earth itself. I want to start out at Numbers 35 and 33. And this precept is directed towards violence, but right here in the first bit of it, it says, So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. And that's very basic. Why would you pollute the land where you are? You have to live there. It says, For blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. And yes, there will be a recompense for this type of pollution, not blood pollution, but chemical pollution and waste pollution and trash pollution and so on and so forth. All this pollution could be put into this first part. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are. It's not just blood. And Esau is going to have to pay for this because he's the head of the heathen and he's directing and guiding, and people are following after his ways, and his ways are destructive and lead to death, both of people and of the land. Go to Isaiah 24 and 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. And everything's backwards and changed. There's no land Sabbaths or anything for the earth to heal itself. And so the earth has become grossly polluted and defiled because of the people that are here and their disregard for the ways that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, has created the earth to be. But there is recompense for all of this, for destroying the earth. Revelation 11 and 18. The nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets. The prophets is in the 144,000, and to the saints, Israel, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And that starts with the head of the heathen, Esau, Edom. The Israelites are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the Edomites are the so-called Caucasian race. And the Lord's going to destroy them for the way that they have managed the earth and the people of the earth. So with that, I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakadash. Shalom.